If you are building a business at the very least minimum price to be charging at least $1 per minute. That I believe is required. All right. So today we have Joseph. He's up in Canada, Ontario. Joseph, fill us in. Give us maybe like a 20 or 30-second kind of like where you're at in business, and then we can jump into the questions and see how I can help.
Okay, so I'm Joseph. I'm originally from Jamaica, but I migrated to Canada 4 years now. Right now, I'm at the place in my business where, by the way, my accent is still a bit strong, so I apologize. Right now, I'm at the place in my business where I'm trying to grow, but I'm trying to start over from the beginning, if that makes sense. Most
Yeah.
of my revenue came from doing subcontract, not from my personal client.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm kind of trying to expand personally, but not by getting more subcontracts. I'm not sure if that's making sense to you.
It is. It is. Yeah. I've seen other businesses that have done similar stuff. So, okay. So basically were you like, okay. So you were basically the contractor that somebody was basically subbing out to you. So what, like, are you trying to like scale down to like simple services so that way you can like start to market yourself? Like what do you think is kind of like the bottleneck? So obviously there's people that are reaching out to this other company that's giving you the work, but like, we need to kind of shift that to where it's like people are starting to see you, they recognize you, and you're the ones that's starting to get those leads. So that way you don't have to go through somebody else, right? First off, I would just ask, like, do you have a work vehicle that you own currently right now for work?
I have my work vehicle. I pretty much have all my tools. I have years of experience.
Okay, that's awesome. So do you by chance have like some vinyl signage on the vehicle or somewhat of a wrap or maybe even just a magnet? Do you have any of those on the vehicle?
So I have on the vehicle the magnetic stickers on both sides of the vehicle. I have my uniform shirts. I have hats.
Okay, so that's good. That's a start. The magnet is a start. Do you have like a website and everything set up or not yet?
No, not yet. I had a website, but I took it down to do some restructuring. So I got to get that put back up.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely focus on that, getting the website up. If you're not tech savvy, there's a website out there called Fiverr that you can actually hire people that are overseas for like a quarter fraction of the price of what you would in the States for somebody to build a website. Sometimes I'll use Fiverr for certain projects that I'm working on in the business. In fact, I'm using them right now for 3 projects right now. But that's a really good, like, if you don't have a ton of like funds and stuff to like pour in or the time to sit down and like watch YouTube videos on like how to build a website, that might be a good option. And then as far as like the financial, I mean, you don't have to go too deep in the numbers, but like, do you have some funds or money aside to like put into marketing so that way you can start to generate leads yourself instead of having to go through a other contractor?
Yeah, I do have the money. There were 2 main questions that I wanted to ask you. The first one is man-hour rate. What a reasonable but ideal man-hour rate to charge?
So very good question. Very good question. So I would say generically speaking, across all states in Canada and all of that, I would say if you are building a business at the very least minimum price to be charging at least $1 per minute
Makes
for
sense.
landscaping. I would not go anything lower than that. There are people out there that probably will and do, but to build a sustainable business, that I believe is required. Now, the next step into that, that's kind of like the basic form is like, at least we got to be making $1 per minute. So if we're on the job for an hour, we need to be making 60 bucks plus material. So just so you know, that does not, like, if there's material or mulch and stuff like that, it's going to be 60 plus whatever the material is. Now, to kind of dial that in, once you start to do more jobs and projects, let's just take mowing, for example. What you'll want to start to do, Joseph, is you will want to start to track your time on every single property. Okay. Are you currently using like a CRM right now to hold your customer information?
I'm not doing that right now.
Okay. So that's okay. You probably only have, a handful or 2 of customers. That's totally okay. What I would recommend, there are a few free softwares out there that you can use while you're just getting started to start to put their contact information inside of the CRM. And then you can start to schedule them, right? Because like when you only have like 5 customers, it's really easy. It's probably all up in your mind or on a notebook of like when you're supposed to be there. But if you really want to grow this thing and take it from more of like a side hustle to like a true business, something that can provide for you, we definitely got to make sure that we get onto a CRM. We use Copilot CRM. It's a phenomenal software. It builds a good base foundation for you to grow into, and you get up to 50 customers for free, and you don't have to spend a single penny on it. I would recommend, that's just one of them. There's a few other free ones out there. I think you can check with Yardbook or something like that. But Copilot's the one that we use, and then that'll get you a little bit more organized that way. And then inside of that CRM, there's typically a mobile, like an app. And so when you start to schedule, let's say you can only work like on Saturdays, like you maybe work a job right now and you're doing this on the side. So Saturdays are your scheduling days. You would schedule your mows on Saturday. And then when you're there, you'll clock in and like start the job timer, and then you'll end the job timer. The reason why this data is so important, Joseph, is because we need to start to figure out how much each job is taking. And then from there, we can really hone in. So us personally, the most simplest answer, and again, every market's going to be different. We charge $80 an hour at our regular location. We charge $70 an hour at our new location. So we go a little bit like less expensive because we're trying to gain more customers. I'd say at the bare minimum, though, as long as you charge $60 an hour, you should be good. You can always grow into that and raise prices down the road. A quick fix for that is you can always call 2 or 3 competitors in the local area and just get quotes. Like, obviously, maybe you have a house, or even if you don't have a house, just give them some random address in your service area. Just be like, hey, how much would you guys charge to mow? Hey, how much would you guys charge to do a bush trimming here, right? And then what you can do is kind of start to see, like, get 2 or 3 quotes. One will be like $45, one will be $55, and the other one might be like 50. It's like, okay, the average of the 3 prices is roughly here. That's at least give me a starting point of what to charge. And then eventually the more advanced version is I need to be tracking my time on these properties, so I know exactly how long I need to be charged or how much to charge the customers.
I think I came into the game charging way too cheap. And one of the reasons I did that, because I had a 9 to 5 and this was just a side hustle, I kind of was of the mindset that this was just some backup money, but now it's my primary income. So I'm pretty much trying to get new customers, if you will. I'm rebuilding like from scratch. So I'm getting new clients, better paying clients. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, when you guys go to a property, is it just mowing, edging, blowing, and then you're out? Do you like bag clippings? Like, how does it work? What's the formula?
So for are you talking for like mowing services specifically?
Yeah, just for mowing. Just for mowing.
Okay. Yeah, so our mowing services, we do 100% residential. We don't do any commercial. It's just simple and easier that way, and we found that we can make more money doing that. And then on the service, what we do is we mow the front, back, and sides. We weed whack along the fence, around any trees in the yard, stuff like that. And then we also will use a stick edger that has a metal edger blade on the end of it to edge the driveway, sidewalk, and curbs. And then we always blow off all the hard surfaces on the property. So front street, alleyway, if there's one, garage, front porch, back porch, and then, any kind of concrete that's there. That's what that service involves.
So you're not raking up any clippings and putting them in brown bags and taking the bags away and stuff like that. Nothing like that.
No, we don't bag any of our properties. Our region down here in Texas it tends to be a little bit more dry. It does rain in the spring and fall. There's a little bit of a wet season, but mainly dry. Now, if you're in an area like Seattle, Washington, which I was just up there for Blue Collar Summit, very, very wet region. Very wet region. Everything's damp. It's foggy. That might be a region, if it's like that up there in Ontario, that you may have to bag the clippings. Even on first-time cuts, though, we do not bag. We will sometimes have to double cut the backyard if it's long, if it's 6, 8, 12 inches long. Sometimes take a weed eater to it first to at least get it down. And then we'll cut it one way and then we'll switch the pattern up and then mow it, the other way to make sure it gets that good finished product and kind of just double mow the back if need be.
So pretty much you just mulch it.
Yeah, pretty much. And we recommend our employees to actually ring the door. Like if they tag it as an overgrown lawn, we recommend to them to ring the doorbell when they're done with the service and like disclaim to the customer, like, hey, just a heads up, we just took a foot off of your grass. Okay. It's not gonna look the best. It's just not. When you go from a foot long to 3 inches, it doesn't look good because it wasn't regularly maintained. Now that you're on our program, now that you're on our services, give it another cut, maybe 2, and it's going to look so much better. And so that's important. That communication is important. Sometimes when we ring the doorbell, if they don't answer, we'll also send them an email. Again, we want to tell them first before they call us when they get home and they're like, it doesn't look good. And we say, yeah, you're right. It's not going to look good because we just took 10 inches off of the lawn because it wasn't mowed for the last 2 months. Like it needs to be regularly mowed. So that first cut it doesn't always look the greatest, but in due time, it'll look good.
I think I've been giving away too much labor for too little money. Because when I go to a property, I'm cutting, I'm bagging, I'm blowing everything, leaves, all the debris, and I'm taking the bags away. And I'm still not charging $70 an hour. I'm charging like 45, 50.
And that's okay. You're learning. I did it too. I still remember walking around my neighborhood and we were doing $20 lawn cuts. In fact, I think they were actually $19 lawn cuts because we wanted the $1 made it look better. $19 lawn cuts, right? I still remember that. And this was only 4 or 5 years ago. And I don't think that's actually a bad thing when you're really just getting started. Like when you only have like 5 customers. Why? Because it gives you the confidence of like acquiring a customer or 2. It's like this person wants my services, builds confidence. But as you start to gain 5, 10, maybe 15 customers that are maybe you're charging 45 an hour, we have to start to transition to, okay, if I want to build something sustainable and I want to build something that the equipment isn't breaking down every day and I'm just like losing money, we have to start to incrementally raise our price to a fair, decent wage that, we got to feed our families too, right? And so a lot of that is also like, I would ask you, Joseph, is like, start to think about how can I bring value to the customer? If I can bring more value to the customer, I will be able to charge a higher price. So how do I bring value to the customer? Well, maybe you said that you had that magnet on the vehicle. What if we took the magnet off and we went and got a couple of quotes for vinyl stickers on the truck? So that way it looks a little bit more professional when you pull up there and you've got your phone number on the side, a logo, maybe company name, like on the side of the vehicle. So that way, when they look out their window, they can see it from their window. Because sometimes the magnets are kind of smaller, it's sometimes hard to read. But that would bring more value to the customer because sometimes when a random vehicle shows up in the front of the house, they're like, who the heck is at my house? And everybody thinks that sometimes, right? And so if you're portraying more professionalism and bringing more value of like, hey, I'm not just doing this on the side, I'm doing this as a profession. How do we separate ourselves from like the weekend warrior to like, hey, I'm a professional in this industry, and you got uniforms. Phenomenal. The next step might be getting vinyl stickers. The next step might be you could hire a answering service. So when they call you, at least somebody's answering the phone, even if it's just taking a message. That's okay. Hey, this is, Joseph's Lawn Care, right? Like, oh, I want mowing services. Great. We'll get this over to our, ops manager, which is you. You're going to wear all the hats. And then, when you get back from the end of the day, then you can send them the quote, so like that's what I would ask you to ask yourself is how can I bring more value to the customer? Another way, when you sign up for a CRM, whether it's Copilot, Yardbook, Jobber, it doesn't matter. Like just pick one. If you want to go the free route, do that. But there are some softwares that allow you to take their credit card information over the phone. That way you don't have to like ring the doorbell when you're done or try to get cash under the mat or Zelle or Venmo. Like, again, this is how we separate ourselves to become a professional. It's like, hey, we require a card on file. Great. If I'm a customer and I don't have to Venmo you manually every week for mowing services, I'm happy because I just put on auto pay and you just charge me. Like, I'm busy. I'm doing stuff, right? Like, I don't want to have to Venmo you every week, right? So how do we begin to bring more value to these customers? That's what I would say is to really, really think about.
What percentage of your business does your website actually bring in?
A lot. In the springtime, we get 8 to 10 customers a day, leads, just from
Oh,
our
really?
website. Yeah, for about 2 to 3 months straight, 8 to 10 leads a day are coming from our website. A lot. What I will tell you is the website is a long-term play. If you built it tomorrow and published it, you would not get a ton of leads right off the bat. You're just not going to. It's going to take a few months. It might take 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months to really have the SEO work properly and really start to create that lead generation avenue. So I would say the more immediate results would be, I would say, vinyl truck stickers on your vehicle. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because now your vehicle is a moving billboard. Everybody sees it. You're more professional. The second thing would probably be that is more a direct marketing tactic is like door hangers. You could go to Vistaprint, just get 5,000 door hangers. And like literally in your mind, when the spring rush comes, just be like, my goal is to put out these 5,000 door hangers in the next like 2 to 3 weeks, or like at least within a month, like right when the grass starts to grow again up there in Ontario. Like, I'm going to put 5,000 door hangers out, and it's going to take you a couple of weeks to do that, but that will generate you those direct leads that you're wanting.
Do you still have an applicator course going on?
I do. Yeah. So I have an applicator course. It basically goes over all of the basically fertilizing weed control program. I would tell there's a lot of good stuff in it. We give our SOPs away, like our standard operating procedures. We give our like applicator training program away, the actual program we use. However, the program won't be super beneficial for you because you're in a different region. Because you're up in Canada, you're in a colder region.
Okay.
But it talks about drift management, like all of the basics. It covers all the SOPs, the documentation, the training checklist that we do. I believe is all in there for you. So like it is beneficial, and it's, I believe, super reasonable price. I've had people go through the program and they're like, wow, you give a lot of value out. There's a few one-on-one coaching calls in there that I recorded for people that are exclusive inside of that course. But where that course would really excel is if someone's in the region of that like central region, like maybe North Carolina to like Texas, like all the way over to like mid California. Like that whole region is really good, for people, because the turf grasses are different. But are you thinking about doing weed control up there?
I do want to venture into weed control because there's actually not a lot of companies that do it here. Like the market is not saturated at all.
Yeah, so that would be a really good like add-on service if you're already offering mowing. It's super easy upsell, and it's really, really good profit margins. I highly recommend it. I mean, it just goes hand in hand. That's our model. Is, in fact, we don't even do clients that want only mowing. We will not take them on. We only service customers that want both mowing and weed control services. And if I get somebody on the phone, more than half the time I can upsell them to the weed control because I can portray how it's better for the lawn, it's more professional, we can care for it, especially if they're in HOA neighborhoods and stuff like that, where the HOA will actually write tickets for people that are like have weeds in the lawn. It's such an easy like add-on service, and it's great profit margins, like 40% profit margins I've seen on it. But yeah, that would be something that down the road that I would definitely look into, for sure, as you start to get more customers.
Okay. So do you focus on weekly or bi-weekly, or how does that work?
So for our mowing service with our region, we do a hybrid schedule. We only have one mow schedule. And so how that works is the grass starts to come out of dormancy beginning March. So we start our mowing season March 1st, and we start a bi-weekly service. Why? Well, the grass isn't really growing super rapidly just yet, but it is starting to come out of dormancy and start to grow. So we start biweekly in March, and then sometime in April, like mid-April, after about a month and a half, once the grass like fully comes out of dormancy, we shift all of our customers over to weekly service. And the reason why we do that is because all of our customers are on our weed control program, which means our fertilizer season is coming. And once we come out and put that fertilizer down on the lawn, it is going to make it so healthy and grow so fast. And as long as the customer is watering 1 to 2 times a week as recommended during that period of time, it's going to grow like a wildfire and get thick. And so the last thing we want to do is wait 2 weeks, because if you cut too much off, you can actually damage the grass. So we go weekly all summer. And then towards now, you'll get kickback from customers and be like, well, I don't want to go weekly. And it's like, look, this is what we tell them. We say, look, we understand if you got family coming over or budget's tight, for a week, no problem. Email us at least 24 hours in advance of your next service, and we'll skip you for the week. There's no charge for that. Now, if you skip like 2 or 3 weeks, there might be an overgrown fee, just a disclaimer. But we allow our weekly customers to skip a week during the summer if they want. So that's kind of the workaround. We just tell them that our system, we can't set up bi-weekly all year. We don't do that. But if they want to let us know to skip, that's fine. Now in the fall time frame, we do go back to bi-weekly once the cooler temperatures come back. Then we switch to our pre-emergent rounds, and then we finish off our mowing season like I think basically November 15th, November 30th, and then we go to a monthly mow in the wintertime.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so your region, I would just look at when the grass is coming out of dormancy, and then that might be good to be bi-weekly for like a month, and then switch them over to weekly if you're still doing the weed control too with the fertilizers. But yeah, that's how we do it. We used to offer the bi-weekly and the weekly. We just tell customers one schedule. It's a hybrid. We're bi-weekly in spring and fall, but during the summer we are weekly, and they could skip if they need be.
Okay.
Yeah, good questions. What else you got? What other questions you got?
I haven't got a lot of questions left. I think those were my main pain points. But just by talking to you, I realized that I was giving away way too much labor. So I pretty much was doing too much for too little.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're basically doing almost like full services for these customers.
Right? I am doing full service, but I'm not charging full service money.
Yeah. So what you can do, there's a couple ways you can slice this up, right? If you want to do full service, you can come up with a price, right? It's like, all right, how many times during the season am I going to be there to mow? For us, it's 36 weeks, but there's always a rain out. Somebody might get delayed. So realistically, there's probably like 30, maybe 32 visits for the mowing season. And then it's like you always got the leaves fall in the fall time frame, spring cleanup, and then you're probably going to need a bush and bed service about probably 4 times a year, where you go in, trim the bushes, pull the weeds. Now the problem is you don't know how long all that stuff takes yet, because you don't have the data, right? You haven't tracked that yet. But if you had that data and knew how long typically that took, what you could do is come up with like a subscription model on that and just basically add up each time and then annualize it each year, and then just be like, okay, it's going to be $300 a month for the services, or full services, or whatever the price may be. It might be $400. Down in Florida, I think that's depending on what the services are getting offered. $450 is not uncommon every month to pay for lawn services in Florida from some of the guys that I've talked to. But, $300 to $400 per month. And then that would basically cover those services. Or what we do, we don't do the subscription model. We just do a per visit pricing. So we compartmentalize it based on the service. And so let's just take mowing, for example. Typical lawn is about 30 minutes for us down here. That's $40. So we just tell the customer, hey, it's $40 per mow. If you need to skip a week, no problem. You won't get billed. But if you do that a lot where it gets long, there might be an overgrown fee for you. And then if we need to rake leaves, we go out, we quote it, and then that would be a separate cost. So instead of kind of wrapping it all up into one, we actually separate it. So our bed service is one price, our mowing service is this price, our weed control is this price. We don't we don't wrap it all up into one. Good question. I'm trying to pull up the notes here that you said. Okay, so yard profitability. Yeah, at the bare minimum, $60 per hour. Bare minimum. If there's material in there, obviously add that. Yeah, how is your region up there? Is it really wet or is it kind of dry?
It's kind of a balance between wet and dry. It's not overly wet, but it's not overly dry.
You could probably get away with not bagging. It's just easier. I would say the only disclaimer though is the first cut, the first service, because yeah, like I said, like that it's first impressions, right? Like you got to make sure that the customer knows that it's probably not going to look the best if it was super grown back there, but I think if your goal is to not be that subcontractor for people, I would say the 3 levers in your business right now that you can pull. Number 1 is getting vinyl stickers on your vehicle to make you look more professional. That is number 1. And it might cost you $800 to $1,000, maybe more, depending on your region. It could be $1,500. I don't know. But it should last you 5 years, ideally, depending on your client.
So when I get the vinyl stickers, does that affect the vehicle insurance?
When you get vinyl stickers on the vehicle,
like you're talking about like a wrap, like a vehicle wrap.
Yeah, but if I were you, I probably wouldn't necessarily go all out just yet and do a full wrap. I'm just talking like getting your logo on the door and then a phone number above the wheel well on the back or something like that. Nice and big. Get it nice and big. Like think like a customer. They're going to hear you mowing across the street. Can they look out their window and visibly read the phone number and the name of the service of your company? If not, we need to go bigger. Like use the whole side of the truck. You don't need to get a full wrap. It doesn't need to be all super different color. You don't need all that. Just get like your name, your phone number, and a logo, and you're good to get started. And that will start to generate you leads from there. So that's number 1. The second thing, at least 5,000 door hangers, 5,000 door hangers from Vistaprint. It shouldn't cost you that much. I haven't put our bulk order in yet this year, so otherwise I'd give you the exact pricing, but I think it's like maybe 20 cents, 25 cents a flyer, maybe less. It might be less, might be 15 cents depending on how much you bulk order. That is just putting them out, as much as you can. And it's going to like per hour, you're probably only going to get like 60 out an hour, 60 to 80, depending on how fast you're moving. But it's going to take you a while to put out all 5,000. But make that your goal, that all 5,000 need to be out within like a month of the grass starting to grow. If you do that, we will book a call 12 months from now, and you'll be like, dude, I got 40 customers this spring, 50 like, I'm telling you, if it's done right, and then you don't have to be a subcontractor for other people. The customer comes directly to you. You take the phone call for now. That's fine. Get them on the schedule when you can. And then, actually, sorry, there was 4 things. The third thing is getting a CRM set up. Got to, even if it's free. Copilot CRM, up to 50 customers. Just do that, or a different one, right? Whatever one you feel more comfortable with. That's the one that we use. We believe in the vision long term, because we're trying to build multiple locations out and stuff like that, and ideally have a business that runs without you. That's kind of our purpose thing. But yeah, and then the last one, I'm trying to think what the last one was. So we said vinyl stickers on the truck. We said
door hangers.
I would say the website. That would be the last one. Those 4 things, Joseph. If you walking away from this call, you don't watch any more YouTube videos, don't watch any more, and focus on putting into action those 4 things, I guarantee you that 6 months from now, you'll come back and be like, dude, that was the best 4 levers I pulled in my business. Like that got me these many customers, literally those 4 things. And like I said, you could jump on Fiverr. It's like fiverr.com. Have somebody build you a 2 or 3 page website with a submission form. And when somebody fills that out, it could go directly to your email. You get their name, phone number, address, and what services they want. And you'll be set, dude. So website, truck signage, CRM, door hangers. Those are the 4 things.
No problem. I'll work on them. When do you want me to update you?
When's your spring rush?
Okay.
When does your
spring rush is about March, mid-March, thereabout.
Okay. So
right now we're doing snow.
Right now you're doing snow. I would say by March 1st, 2 weeks before the season starts. 2 weeks before the season starts, 5,000 door hangers, like at
Mm-hmm.
your house, ready to roll.
Mm-hmm.
Website is done. Truck signage is on the truck, and you have a CRM by March 1st, and you will be golden for this upcoming year.
Okay, it's gonna get done.
Yeah, put it on the calendar. We have a whiteboard in my house. We have goals set up, so I see them every day, because we let our dog out. And when we let her out, I sit there and I look at the whiteboard and I read my goals. Right, put it in maybe on your like right when you walk out of your bedroom. So that way, every morning when you wake up, those are the 4 things. Boom, boom, boom. By March 1st. That way, it's at the forefront of your mind, and it's like, what actions am I doing today to get me closer to those things? As far as prioritization goes, Joseph, on those 4, I would say honestly, do Copilot first. Because you literally, after this call in 30 minutes, you can have an account for free in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Like I would do, today before you go to bed, you check boxed off. You have a CRM. And then the next thing I would say within the next week or 2, I would do the truck signage. That's going to be the second level, because if you're doing snow right now, while you're driving around, you're going to start getting eyeballs on the truck. And then the third one, I would say do the website, which will take you a little bit longer. If you're going to build it yourself, you can do it on Wix and watch YouTube videos. Or if you're like, hey, I'm not tech savvy, I just want to pay somebody $1,000 or $1,500 to build a website for me, then do that if you have the funds. And then I would have the door hangers be the last one, but they need to be delivered to your house by March 1st. So you probably need to put the order in by February 15th.
Okay.
Yeah. Dude, and I'm telling you, you do that, you will crush it. And you will have quite a bit of customers. You're gonna be calling me and having other problems in your business of like, how do I lead people? I need to hire somebody. I can't do all the work. So
well, I look forward to those problems.
Yeah, you got it, man. You're gonna crush it. You're gonna crush it.
Thanks,
Obviously
man.
jumping on the call and seeking guidance. Some people don't do that. So I really admire you for stepping outside of your comfort zone, seeking guidance, seeking help from people that have kind of paved the way before you. I'm confident that those 4 things will definitely help you. Is there anything else in your business? I'm coming up close on towards the end of this. Is there anything else in your business that you need help with or have questions on outside of what we talked about? Or maybe if you have anything additional to what we talked about.
Not off the top of my head, no. I think we've pretty much covered what I needed to get straightened out.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm confident in that. Yeah, dude, you're going to crush it. So I appreciate you jumping on. Hopefully this helps you. And I look forward to hearing you in 3 to 6 months from now, and you'd be like, Will, I am so busy, I need to hire an employee. And then we'll have a whole different conversation on how to hire people.
Thanks so much for having me, man. It's been a
You're
pleasure.
welcome. Absolutely. Take care, man.
All right, man. Have a good one. Thanks.
We'll see ya.